Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is October 1st, 2024, and we're gonna talk about Hansi Flick's post-match press conference after Barcelona's victory in the Champions League. Also, we're gonna discuss the possible dates of Barcelona's return to the Spotify Camp Nou. And finally, it's reported that Barcelona are currently tracking a Brazilian prodigy out of Palmeiras. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to hit the goal kits, kickback, or fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to hit the bet us. All links are down below in the description. Now I begin this video with the great news that Barcelona won their Champions League match today against Young Boys, where Barcelona defeated the Swiss team 5-0 at the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic, with 2 goals of Robert Lewandowski, 1 goal by Rafinha, 1 goal by Inigo Martinez, and a 5th goal that was an own goal by a Young Boys player. Now, of course, I did do a post-match live analysis. If you do want to hear my full analysis and review of the match, make sure you check the video on the channel. Now, as always, Hansi Flick spoke in the post-match press conference. We do have to review the statements of the German coach because this is what he had to say about Barcelona's performance in the Champions League match. Now, Hansi Flick said, "We have to start the games a little stronger, be more dynamic as a whole. The game has improved as the minutes have passed. Nobody knows how this Champions League will work, but it's always good to have a good goal difference." So Hansi Flick saying that the team needs to start, with more stronger, because he felt like the team didn't start strong, and then as the minutes went by, the team got better. And I have to say, I agree 100%. That's exactly why I said in a post-match live analysis, where I said the team started out, a little bit weak, and then with the minutes, they improved. So Hansi Flick not happy with that, wanting the team to be, starting strong from the first second. And I have to say, this just goes to show what kind of coach Hansi Flick is. His team just won 5-0 in the Champions League. He could have been like, oh, amazing win, we're great, everything. He's like, no, yeah, we won, yeah, it was 5-0, but I don't care. We did not start strong. I don't like that. We need to be starting strong every match. So that's the kind of coach that Hansi Flick is. He's constantly doing self-reflection. He's constantly looking ways to improve the team, even when he wins by an absolute thrashing. Now, Hansi Flick also mentioned, about how nobody knows really how this new format of the Champions League is going to start. So, of course, he was happy with the 5 goals because at the end of the day, you might have a lot of teams that might end up with the same amount of points. So a goal difference can always come in handy. So Flick happy that Barcelona scored 5 goals. Now, Hansi Flick was asked about the players, starting with Rafinha, who did pick up the MVP award. And this is what the German coach had to say. "Rafinha has played very well. We cannot just talk about the player. It is important to play as a team. Rafinha can only play well if his teammates do too. With Pedri, we wanted to give him a rest, and with Frankie, we weren't so sure about bringing him on earlier. That's why Ansu came on in the middle at the beginning. The players deserve the 2 days off rest they have now." So 3 things I want to mention, of course. First of all, they asked him about Rafinha winning the MVP, and he said, yeah, Rafinha did great, but it's not about him. It's about the whole team. The whole team needs to do well, because if the whole team does not do well, Rafinha cannot do well, or of course, any player cannot do well on their own. So really cool message by Flick, where, yeah, he recognizes the great work by Rafinha, but at the same time, bringing the focus back to the whole team rather than just an individual player. Then he was asked about Ansu Fati playing in the midfield, and he said, well, the reason that happened at the beginning is because they needed to rest Pedri, but they weren't sure if Frankie can come on that early on. So in between, in that window, while Pedri had to come out and Frankie wasn't ready to come in yet, Ansu Fati played in the midfield. And of course, that makes more sense, because when I did see Ansu Fati first come in and he was playing in the midfield, I was like, that doesn't really make sense. We heard about Flick wanting to try him out in the number 9 position, maybe on the left wing. Why is he playing in the midfield? But now we know why. Is because Pedri needed to come off, but Frankie wasn't ready to come on yet. That's also good news for Ansu Fati, because, having to play in the midfield, that's going to be very tough, because, of course, there's a lot of competition, especially when all the players are healthy. We have Pedri, Gabi, Frankie, Dani Olmo, Marc Casado, Andreas Christensen can play there. We have Eric Garcia who can play there. So lots of competition there. So it wouldn't be as beneficial for Ansu Fati if he was put in midfield. And then finally, he did talk about the 2 days off. And that's right, Hansi Flick is giving the team 2 days off to celebrate. So that's really good because, of course, the players will need some rest. Now, there was a little bit of an injury scare during the match. We all saw Inigo Martinez requesting to be substituted. Then we saw him come off the field and he was talking to the medical staff, as you can see in the picture. Well, I'm here to put your minds at ease. Inigo Martinez is not injured. In fact, he gave a statement after the match where he clarified that simply he felt like a muscle overload, like he was tired, fatigued. So he asked, for a substitution as a precaution, which makes absolute sense. Inigo Martinez has played every single match except the one against Osasuna. So also very smart on the player. The match was over, it was won. So asking for a substitution just to be on the safe side. Now more news because it's reported, or at least there's a bit of speculation on when can Barcelona return to the Spotify Camp Nou. Now, as I told you in yesterday's podcast, the board of directors approved the budget for last year. They closed it off and approved it, and they also approved the budget forecast for this year, and they released a statement announcing that. And in that statement, they said that the first team are not going to go back to the Spotify Camp Nou during the first half of the season, but they will return during the second half of the season. And based on these statements, Mundo Deportivo have speculated on when Barcelona could return to the Spotify Camp Nou based on those statements that Barcelona released. And well, if Barcelona were to return during the second half of the season, which is what the statement said, that means they could return in the match against Valencia, because that's the beginning of the second half of the season, as the statement suggests. And that will be played around either January 25th or January 26th. So we're talking about January as a possible return for Barcelona to the Spotify Camp Nou. Now, after that match against Valencia, we do have the Champions League match against Atalanta on January 29th. However, we know that per the Champions League rules, Barcelona cannot return to the Spotify Camp Nou until the knockout stages. So that means that even if Barcelona return to the Spotify Camp Nou, that match against Atalanta will still have to be played in Montjuic, which means that maybe Barcelona could still play in Montjuic against Valencia and in the Champions League, which means that following match would be back at Spotify Camp Nou, and that would be against Alaves, which would take place in February. Now, those of course are all speculation. We don't know exactly those exact dates. I think, whenever it happens, it happens. I just want the stadium to be ready, to look good, to be ready to receive fans and the team. And once that happens, it happens. Of course, it is beneficial that Barcelona return to the stadium as soon as possible so they can make more money, because they're losing money in Montjuic. But again, I don't think there's any rush. I think we need to do a great job with the stadium. And then once the stadium is ready, we can talk about going back. Now, more news because Barcelona are reportedly tracking a Brazilian prodigy who currently plays for Palmeiras, and that player is no other than Vitor Reis. Now, Vitor Reis is an 18-year-old center back, again, plays at Palmeiras. He has been compared to both Militao and Marquinhos, and in fact, he's been making waves in international football, so much so that he attracted the interest of Real Madrid, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool during last summer. And as a result of this heavy interest, of course, Palmeiras decided to cash in on it. So they extended the contract of Vitor Reis until 2028, and they gave him a 100 million euro release clause. Yes, you heard that right. 100 million euro release clause for this 18-year-old center back. And now it's being reported that Barcelona are tracking him and are also, or could be interested in signing him. Now, that's the news that's currently circulating around. It's coming from some pretty reliable sources. Of course, I have my doubts. I have no doubt that Barcelona are probably tracking him. They are watching his development. But as far as signing him, 100 million euros for a center back, where we have plenty of center backs. We have Inigo, Pau Cubarsí, Araujo, Christensen, even Koundé can play there, Sergio Dominguez in the academy. Now, we have plenty of options there. So, A, to try to bring another center back when we have plenty, and B, to try to spend 100 million, that just doesn't add up. But anyways, that's the news, and I decided to bring it to you. Now, the last bit of news, and we'll end this video with this one, but it looks like Andrés Iniesta is set to announce his retirement. There was a post today on Twitter where it was a graffiti drawing of Iniesta with the Barcelona jersey and the number 8 turned sideways, because that's the symbol that Barcelona gave him, kind of like eternal or infinity, And then next to the graffiti it said October 8th, 2024, coming soon. And everybody has interpreted that as that Iniesta will announce on October 8th his retirement, which of course is going to be a sad day for all football fans around the world, because we all know how Iniesta was an absolute genius in the midfield. We are very, very lucky to have been alive and have been able to watch this magician do his magic on the field every single match. And what an illustrious career. As you can see in the picture, Iniesta ended up winning with Barcelona alone 9 La Ligas, 4 Champions League, 6 Copas del Rey, 3 UEFA Super Cups, 7 Spanish Super Cups, and 3 Club World Cups. And of course, that doesn't even take into account the trophies that he won with Spain, because Iniesta won 2 Euros and a World Cup. An absolute legend, not just of Barcelona, but of football in general. And it looks like his career is coming to an end. And, well, that will be a very, very sad day for football. But how lucky are we to have been able to witness such greatness? Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I did do the post-match live analysis. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, peace, guys.